Werewolf movies are just so much fun. To be honest, I didn't really appreciate the fucking art form that it is until like 2 years ago. I never had an interest in werewolf media until Resident Evil 8 came out. I'm not even joking, dude. This was what fucking did it for me. But ever since then, I've never turned on the chance to watch a good werewolf movie. So many of these films are so unique and fun, and today I just want to talk about some of the ones I've watched this year alone. Please recommend me more good werewolf movies in the comments below. I need them, please.
Silver Bullet.
Stephen King's Cycle of the Werewolf is a super underrated novel, and the movie adaptation Silver Bullet is also pretty underrated. It's definitely not perfect, it's one of the weaker films I have on this list today, but it's so fun and charming. Tone-wise, it reminds me of the It miniseries from the 90s. Silly, campy fun that's more focused on the childlike wonder in the characters than it is on the scare. Like, this movie is not scary at all. It's just a way more violent Goosebumps episode. This movie's also really funny sometimes, and I have no clue if that was intentional or not. Because this kid's uncle is played by the dictionary definition of character actor Gary Busey.
And I'll call you. I got 3 kings, read them and weep.
But this movie's also hilarious because of weird shit like this kid's motorized wheelchair that eventually gets turned into a fucking motorcycle. Or the scene where he finds out that the local priest is a werewolf and he decides to write him a letter where he literally tells him to fucking kill himself. I'm not even joking, dude. This is a real scene. He uses magazine clippings and everything. My biggest problem with this movie is the pacing. The actual werewolf part takes a major backseat to this kid and his family, which would be fine if they were interesting, but I think you can assume by the fact that I'm calling the kid and not by his name that they're not that interesting. As a result, the movie feels a little slow at times, and it's also pretty forgettable. Like, I just watched this shit the other day and I'm blanking on it right now. But it's a lot of fun, especially if you like werewolves or Stephen King. If you're not a fan of either of those things, but you want to be, then you should probably start somewhere else because this ain't the fucking place.
Stephen King's Silver Bullet.
Ginger Snaps is the first werewolf movie I watched this year, and at first I couldn't tell if I liked it or not. I went in completely blind, having only ever heard the name of this movie before, and for the first like 20 minutes I thought it was about 2 sisters who want to be murderers, but were too scared to go along with it and kill dogs instead. But thankfully that's not the case. A lot of fucking dogs still died though, kinda sucks. Teenage Angst, the movie, actually turned out to be about werewolves, and it was a good damn werewolf movie too. The effects are really good. I've heard a few complaints about the way it's shot, but I honestly kinda fuck with it. Not only is this movie genuinely disturbing at times, but it's also really fucking funny.
I have to go, I have a class.
Also, this guy's from Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. Just wanted to say that, I guess. I didn't expect to become attached to these characters at all because they're kind of fucking assholes, but as the film progressed, I became pretty interested in their relationship. And by the end of it, I was actually kind of sad. It's an extremely bleak ending that has really stuck with me. But at least Chris' crazy last name is here, that's always a plus. And why the fuck does he look so much like Jerma in this movie? I really like how this movie deviates from established werewolf rules. Like, you don't need a silver bullet to kill them, that's for fucking sure. And they aren't presented as these towering furry beasts, but instead these crouched down, mangled, slimy looking creatures. I just love this design, man. I want to say more, I really do, but I'm trying not to spoil these movies too much. Just trust me. Watch Ginger Snaps. 8 out of 10. I love you, Wes Craven. I've made like 4 Scream videos. I recently talked about his dope Swamp Thing movie, and now I get to watch Cursed, which is definitely one of his worst films, for sure. Before I rewatch this movie for this video, I have forgotten how fucking ridiculous and unintentionally funny it is. I might have to make a whole video about it sometime down the line. But for now, I'll just say if you want a good, bad horror movie to watch with your friends this year, you could do a lot worse than Cursed. I always tell this movie to people on the promise that it's even funnier than Scream 3, which is one of the greatest unintentional comedy movies ever made. And besides being fucking hilarious, this movie also has young Jesse Eisenberg in it. Baby boy Lex Luthor is pretty fun to watch in this movie, I'm not gonna lie. And his relationship with his older sister starts out really annoying but becomes a little charming as the film goes on. The werewolf effects are well, you can see him. The CGI is fine enough for the time, I guess, but it's still pretty distracting to watch. This looks kind of fucking silly, I can't lie. This movie has decent kills and gore effects, but it's this giant hunk of hair that holds it back. Most of the characters in this movie suck. They're flat, annoying people, and I felt nothing when they died. Pacing is all over the place, and the editing is, oh god. No, the fucking editing, dude. If you showed this to someone who didn't know anything about it, and then waited till the end to tell them that the guy who made this movie also made Nightmare on Elm Street, they straight up wouldn't fucking believe you, dude. I love Wes Craven and his films, but this one just doesn't really do it for me. At all. The only thing I like about it is how fucking funny it is, and I don't even know if that shit was on purpose. 4 out of 10.
Bad Moon. It doesn't have to be Halloween to be this scary.
Bad Moon definitely fits its name. Keeping with the trend of disappointing movies, Bad Moon is a movie about a guy doing a bad Sylvester Stallone impression trying to reconnect with his sister and try to get over his big pissed off dog disease. But after the opening, the movie just continues to nosedive for the rest of the run. The premise of the family dog protecting them from a werewolf is a fun one, but they fuck it up with the execution completely. This movie's so weirdly framed and so oversaturated that half the time you see way too much, if you know what I mean. That werewolf costume looks good and all, but it's kinda ruined by the fact that I can see every detail of the thing. This results in the final act being more fucking hilarious than anything, which is definitely not what they were going for. This movie's pacing is also complete dog ass despite how short the movie is. Also, they use the same fucking musical cue every time the damn dog is on screen, which is very often. And after a while, this started to get very annoying. But I don't really have much else to say about this one because there really just isn't anything else to say at all. 3 out of 10. I'm just disappointed. Sorry to end our list on a bad note, guys, but it's just that there's so many fucking bad werewolf movies. And I guess that's what the main point of this video is. I want more werewolf movies, but I mean more good werewolf movies. Like, I can go on to Tubi or fucking Pluto TV and scroll through a list of a million shitty werewolf movies called like Werewolf Income, Werewolf Tax Fraud, I don't fucking know, man. So please, Hollywood, make more fucking werewolf horror movies, man, when this strike is over. Andy Muschietti, the director of the It movies, is apparently going to do an adaptation of The Halloween. Fuck yes, that would be amazing. Imagine if they got a talented director like Scott Derrickson who's good at writing children to do a remake or a modern day adaptation of Cycle of the Werewolf. That would be fucking dope. Or just imagine a really high budget movie that's basically the fucking village segment of Resident Evil 8, but as a whole film where it's just a bunch of villagers fighting off a bunch of bloodthirsty werewolves and they rip them to pieces and shit. It'd be great. It'd be fun. So yeah, I don't really know what the main point of this video is. I guess I'm here to just say check out these fun werewolf movies listed here. But yeah, make more werewolf movies or else I'm gonna have to do it myself. I don't know.